former President John Dramani Mahama has lashed out at President Akufo-Addo for blatantly refusing to listen to civil society organizations who also have solutions to the economic challenges. According to John Mahama, the government's failure to constantly engage the CSOs have further led the country in a ditch.
Civil society organizations occupy a place of pride in modern democracies due to the role that actors in the civic space have played and continue to play in promoting socio-economic change and good governance. All over the world, especially in democracies, civil society has been the bulwark that pushes back on authoritarian leadership styles through advocacy, protest, and sharing of well-researched alternative ideas. Governments must aim to essentially make a positive impact on the social and economic circumstances of the people they lead. However, that hardly happens without the usual push, shove, and advocacy from civil society, which has come to represent the conscience of our nations. Our partners from civil society experience have taught us that intolerant governments always have the tendency to be repressive, and recent events unfolding in our own country offer ample evidence to support this observation. Repression takes away the ability of civil society to function effectively because it is an attack on the freedoms that oil the machinery of civic engagement and democratic conduct. One of the enduring relevance of civil society organizations, CSOs, is the ability to hold both government and the market in check and prevent the abuse of human rights. Thus, as part of its moral duty, civil society movements have played watchdog roles in ensuring that governments stay within the limits of good governance and markets operate without exploitation of ordinary people. As some of you may be aware, my first tertiary qualification was in history, so I like to commence every narrative from a historic perspective. Two prominent factors have been instrumental in creating an enabling space for civil society actors to have an adequate platform to operate as legitimate partners in the socio-economic development of nations. In Ghana, first, the structural adjustment reforms that started in the 1980s supervised a policy that rolled back the state intervention, especially in social services. This created a vacuum which civil society organizations in various forms emerged to fill through service provision and advocacy. During that period, such organizations were mainly referred to as NGOs, non-governmental organizations, and CBOs, community-based organizations. These organizations emerged in the civil society space with funding mostly from external sources and served as partners in the building of our nation. At the time, it was not uncommon to hear even government officials call on civil society organizations, that is the NGOs of the time, to help in addressing one particular need or other in society. The second factor that shaped civil society activity in our country was a desire to return the country to a stable civilian government after many years of military rule. Some of the prominent and active civil society organizations that spearheaded the agitation for democratic forms of government include the Christian Council, the Ghana Muslim Council, the Catholic Bishops' Conference, the National Council on Women and Development, the Media, University Teachers Association of Ghana, and the Trades Union Congress of Ghana.